Yeah, I always wanted to be like the shore dad that like drove back and forth to work. Do you know what I mean? Like came for the weekends, wife, kids at the shore, like really easy life dads just slaving away. Like, I have like a little bit of a martyr complex. Like I have like that like appeals to me.
Where's the family mother at the shore?
Yeah, the family mother at the shore.
Yeah.
Do you have insurance?
But I did recently go to Alaska and rent an RV, which is along the same lines because I'm driving the RV, everyone's in the back having fun. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of my
awesome.
shtick too. Yeah.
That's very
Every once in a while they bring me a sandwich. All right.
Every once in a while they bring you a sandwich. I like this sort of that. Awesome.
All right. So for all the agents in the room, like quick show of hands, you have a listing presentation, right? Yep. Do you have a buyer's presentation?
Yeah.
You do, of course. You're
No, but I can't wait to see yours.
So statistics tell us, like real estate agents, 87% of people do not have a buyer's presentation. And it's unfortunate because it is securing a relationship the same way a listing presentation does. So we're gonna kind of go a little bit into ours. So so most of us, when we meet a buyer, we'll meet them at a property, we'll meet them at a coffee shop, and we frame the relationship as kind of you call, we come, right? And we have an opportunity to be significantly more for our buyers, and I think like that's really what the purpose of our presentation really is to become significantly more to our buyers. So for the next 20 minutes, you're going to see like the first, we're going to see like probably 75% of our buyer presentation. And I didn't leave anything out because it's secret. I just wanted to make sure it fit into the class size, right? So all the important pieces are there. And at the end, I have if you dig it, I have a copy that I'm happy to give you for, you can add your own logo to it and get to using it if that's what you'd like. So, so the client's really won or lost at the consultation level. And we get a chance to be lifetime agents for those clients if we set the relationship up correctly. And if we're opening doors on demand and finding like doing financing when they find something that they like and getting agreements signed at the last minute, then it's really difficult to expect loyalty. And so then when the buyers go work with someone else, we wonder why, right? Like I wait at a corner for a bus, and when the bus comes, I get on it. And if the next day it's a different bus driver, I just get on the bus because it takes me where I'm trying to go. I don't have loyalty to the bus driver, nor really should I. And if we're just going and showing houses for our clients, there's no reason to expect that loyalty either. There are 2,700 people in the greater Philadelphia area that can do the very same thing for them. So we wanted to figure out a way to be able to do something significantly more impactful for them. And that's kind of where the buyer presentation comes from. And then it also just gives us an opportunity to really ask for that loyalty in writing at the end. So I'm gonna kind of do 5 different things in this buyer presentation that we're gonna do live. This is Jared, by the way. Jared Smith is a agent clocking to do mid-30 deals on our team, so superstar in his own right. But today you just get to play the buyer, Jared, so I appreciate you coming. And so we're going to accomplish 5 things. We're going to set the agenda before they set it. We're going to make it about their wealth, not a house. We're going to diagnose before we prescribe. And then we're going to sell the process, not us. And we're going to ask for the commitment at the end. So when we hit each of these 5 places, I'm just going to say, like, time out. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit, try and make it interactive. And then also, you can tell us like how you would say it, because it doesn't matter how you say it, it just matters that it gets understood by your this is Jared. He's a first-time buyer. He's renting. His lease is up in 6 months. This is the first time Jared's reading this. So, your needs, your dreams, your questions, your timeline, but more specifically, your wealth. Committed to spend with us, so happy to spend this time with you, and this is what I want to give you. And that's just what I want to learn from you. This is going to work the best if you ask questions. When you have questions, the more I hear from you, the better I can be in that job. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
All right, awesome. So you're gonna say like, hey, you're gonna start telling me about a house like you saw.
Okay. So yeah, so I was perusing through Zillow, found about 3 houses that caught my eye, but there's one that I saw that's I feel like that's the one.
Yep. We'll get to that house. I promise. It might be the one, but if not, I want to know what's true for you, so that we can create a customized plan for you. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
So happy to talk about the house, but there's a lot I want to get accomplished today, and I think all of it's going to benefit you. Fair?
Fair.
All right. So time out. This is where we kind of set the agenda for the time that we're going to spend together. And I also I ask a lot of probing personal questions, because if I don't, I'm not going to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And so I set that out when I'm like, it's your needs, your dreams, your questions, your timeline. That we're going to go beyond houses today. And the agenda, we're not responding to that Zillow thing that he wants to see. Because yes, we'll get to that. But if I go down the house route first, it's really difficult to incorporate the rest of this later. So definitely pause that, and then we jump right back in. Any thoughts or questions about that?
No, I like that it's you establishing like, all right, I'm going to take you on this journey, as opposed to sometimes they get very excited and passionate about like, wait, like let's talk house and let's talk. They're excited ones to lead the conversation. And
Yep.
I like that you just kind of acknowledge it, but make sure that you're in the driver's seat.
Nailed it. All right. So exactly, we got to set the agenda, or they're going to set it. And honestly, nature of war is a vacuum. So if you're not going to set it, someone needs to set it. Like my wife is really forgetful. As it turns out, I'm really forgetful. But someone's got to check the cab to make sure that no one left anything. And it's unfortunately it's me. So anytime there's a vacuum of any power dynamics, someone's going to fill it, and you just don't want your buyer to feel like they have to step in and do it, right? Awesome. So okay. So Jared, there are 2 numbers here on the sheet. I want you to take a look at both of them, because I think you're gonna find they're vastly different, and we're gonna understand why today. So your average renter in the United States has a net worth of approximately $10,400, and your average homeowner has a net worth of about $396,000. And today we're going to learn why. So that stat shocking to you?
It is actually.
And so, just to be totally clear, net worth is the total amount of your assets minus the total amount of your debts. So if you had $400,000 in the bank, but you owed $450,000 on your house, you actually have a negative net worth of 50. Does that make sense? And so, net worth is different than the idea of wealth. Net worth is an accumulation of all of the financial truths in your world. And this is kind of the core phrase that we talk about generational wealth. Net worth is really the core of that. And so we're going to spend some time really researching what happens and why home ownership is really the key to the initiation of wealth in America. And now you get to plug into, which is super, super cool. All right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to show you how this happens. We're going to do a little math. Are you game?
Okay.
All right. So do me a favor and pull up the Envoy mortgage app that I sent you. You can find any of these online. You don't need to use this particular app. But okay. All right. So we just turn to the Dream of Home Ownership page. All right. So you'll see the three buckets for how wealth is accumulated through real estate, right? Bucket number one is appreciation. Appreciation is just the value that a home gains over time. The average appreciation on homes in the United States is about 4% per year. That doesn't sound like a lot, right? But this is where interest compounds over time. This is the compound interest curve. It's like the eighth wonder of the world. So in general, every 30 years, you can, at 4% appreciation, you can almost guarantee that your house is going to triple in value. Isn't that a crazy number? That is crazy. Yeah. So it happens 4% of the time, but then that 4% is added to the total, and then 4% of that the next year. You with me so far?
Yeah.
All right. So the house that you sent me on Zillow is $400,000. Is that right?
Correct.
So do me a favor, just enter that in the purchase price.
Okay.
And we have appreciation at 4%. 4% times 400,000 is $16,000. So just in owning your house in the first year, you made $16,000. Isn't that cool?
It's very cool.
All right. So let's talk about principal payments. And this is the second bucket. And the second bucket is, remember we talked about net worth, is the total amount of your assets minus your debts. So any dollar that we remove from our debts increases our net worth. With me?
Yes.
So if we make payments off of the principal that we owe on the house, then we will also be increasing our net worth by reducing our debts. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Awesome. So if you'll just go ahead and put the interest rate in the loan term of 30 years, interest rate of about 6.65%. That's what we're looking at in general. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. The third bucket is the tax benefits. And so in the United States, the government treats you owning a home like it treats a business who rents an office. So for example, I rent an office for my real estate team and I pay about $4,000 a month. So at the end of the year, that's $48,000 that I get to deduct from my earnings that I don't have to pay taxes on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, the United States government, in all of their wisdom, treats home ownership the same way. So you're in the business of renting to yourself. But all of your interest payments, all of the taxes that you pay, and many home improvements are tax deductible. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to calculate exactly how much of a tax deduction this is going to be worth to you. So you're going to be you're going to have a lot of tax deductions, but we're actually looking for the actual number of tax savings. Does that make sense? So are you, and that's a personal question, are you single or married?
I'm married.
Awesome. So that's going to change your tax bracket a little bit, okay? And then combined, do you guys make more or less than $154,000?
Less.
Less. Great. So I just want you to note that in your in that app.
Okay.
Okay. And then go ahead and hit calculate for me, view results.
Okay.
All right, so what was the appreciation number in the first bucket?
$16,000.
Awesome. Can you write that on the form for me, that the non-existent form that we have, non-existent brochure that we have here? Can you write that on? Awesome. Cool. And then just hit next.
Okay.
How much in principal payments are you going to be making in your first year?
$3,476.
Awesome. So write that down. $3,476.
Okay.
So now that gets us to $19,476 that your net worth is increased in the first year. Awesome. And then what are the tax benefits? So let's call that $20,000 just for the purposes of it. And then tax benefits?
$4,659.
Awesome. So when you add all that together, you've increased your net worth by $25,000 by owning a home. And you can see over the course of 30 years how that would stack up and why that average homeowner has a net worth of $396,000 would only take you about 12 years to get there. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Was that eye-opening for you?
Very much so.
I love that. Awesome. Okay. Time out. So when we started showing the math, it really, like, our close rates skyrocketed. Like, it changed the way in which we positioned ourselves in their mind. And it was, for a lot of our clients, and I don't know where you guys work, for a lot of our clients, it's the first time they heard the words net worth. My dad was a psychologist, and my mom was a high school administrator, and they both had college degrees, and they never said the word net worth in my house. I mean, we didn't talk about wealth, we talked about money, right? What money can buy. My dad had a cool Chevy Blazer back when Chevy Blazers were cool, But we never talked about wealth, and I think for our clients, for many of them, this is the first time anyone's ever had a conversation with them about wealth, and it really changes our status in their mind. And so this was a really big change for us, and I think, honestly, was a game changer for our business when we started doing that. What are your thoughts?
It's a unique approach. I've never thought to talk about it.
Yeah, I've never slowed it down enough for us to have this
Right.
conversation. It's structured, there's a framework, you have a flow to it, where it's like the first thing that we're going to talk about is the difference between net worth of renters, net worth of home ownership. That's the starting point. Never seen it done like that.
Yeah, so I do a lot of investor consults with my investor clients. So I'll analyze their portfolio and give them a graphic about how much their valuation of their portfolio is, how much their equity is, how much they can leverage. So we do all of the analysis before, and they're like, "Is this a good deal? Is this a good investment?" And I said, "Do the math on the deal.
Yeah.
It could be here versus there versus this property versus that property. You have to do the math, and then here is the formula to do that." And just to show real quick, I spent yesterday 3 hours just running numbers on this guy who had a small portfolio of 4 properties, and I was just able to just to help him see all of his numbers. And I'm like, "You have $1 million portfolio," and he never thought that he had $1 million portfolio. He has $350K in equity, and he didn't even know what his equity was, how much he actually had in his portfolio. So just seeing that just cleared up a lot of things for him. And I'll show you when I find this form, but
No, for sure. I think this is just, we can be so much more than door openers, right? We can be so much more than people who write up contracts. All those are, honestly, you can get for way cheaper than what we charge.
So I did to sell or to hold, and then here's the cash out finance options, here's the home equity line of options, and then here's your total equity, total value, what you can get in lines of credit because he's trying to buy more properties, leveraging his portfolio, and and then I also have an analysis for whether or not property is going to be a good fix or fit, et cetera, as he's analyzing his current portfolio and then planning for future.
That's our training next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Sneak peek.
Yeah. But, you know, just 5 minutes ago, this was about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a cool backyard, and now it's about wealth accumulation, and our roles have significantly changed. And I think that's really important. But I think for our clients, this is a hole in their education, and we had a chance to really fill it. And I've had accountants that I sat down with that had never thought about the 3 buckets the way that we presented it. I used to get nervous, like, oh, they're a professional, they don't need this stuff, right? And they do, like most people do. So I think it's a powerful piece of what we do. Cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, so there's a couple of commitments I want to make to you now. And we'll do everything to make this home buying process one of the best decisions and easiest processes of your life. We're going to help you a perfect home for the very best price possible. And we're going to have consistent and clear communication throughout the whole process. Those are our big promises, but the rest of our promises are going to be related to your goals. So tell me a little bit about what your goals are. It can be neighborhoods, it can be about the house, it can be about your agent. I just want to know like your 3 most important goals in this home purchase.
Yeah, I mean, so for starters, my lease is ending in about 6 months, so would definitely like to have something kind of like locked in with enough time to move without having to worry about, you know, a temporary gap like long homeless. Definitely want something that, you know, meets our budget. I've been hearing lots of crazy things with the interest rate, so my wife and I have like a very strict budget, and then we're also, you know, trying to, you know, secure like a good investment. The way rent's going right now, it's almost as if we're better off like getting a mortgage.
I get that. Okay. And then specifically about the house, what's the most important thing for both you and your wife?
I'll probably say space.
Okay. Space. Tell me more.
Well, we're thinking about expanding the family, so we definitely want more room than just us 2.
Congratulations. That's super exciting.
Right.
Any neighborhoods that are important to you?
Good school districts.
Okay.
Public transportation, piece of public transportation, things like that.
Anything that's important to be close to?
Work.
Okay. What kind of work do you do?
I'm in banking.
Okay. Been started for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're banking? Okay, awesome. And where do you work?
I work downtown.
Okay. So what's like the maximum commute you want to have?
Probably about like 25, 30 minutes.
Okay, so 25 to 35 minutes from 25 to 30 minutes down from downtown. Looking for space, enough rooms for additional humans as they arrive, in a good school district. Anything that I'm missing?
No, that's right.
Okay, great. I would ask more questions, but we're going to continue. Awesome. So, one of our lines that I really like is that if you had a doctor give a diagnosis, like a prescription before they did the diagnosis, like they'd be sued for malpractice. We do this all the time, right? And we need to spend, we spend a good amount of time. I would say that page is probably 8 minutes that we spend on that page alone, just to make sure that we understand, because like I did it not at the level that I normally would, because you would say space. Space for what? Like, what's important to you about space? When you say backyard, I'm like, oh, do you want a garden? Do you want to, is this for like a kid's playground? Do you want to just have distance from your neighbors? Like, I want to understand why you want what you want, because then that I can help you find. I just gone down so many wrong roads, like trying to find someone that wants an office when really they just needed an extra room and a finished basement would have done. And if I just asked more questions, I would understand. So, so we ask a lot of questions to be able to understand what they want, but also why they want it. Cool. Also, it gives me ammo because every once in a while, like you said space, and you said good school district. So when you send me a 1,200 square foot place in North Philly, I can go back to your list and be like, this doesn't correspond with many of the things that you wanted. Can I tell you about that? I just want to make sure that we're chasing the right thing. And that stops us from having to make the unnecessary showings that we often do because we're just too uncomfortable to tell them that this isn't going to be a good fit for them, right? So they've written it down, and like at every section of these, I have them write it down, and then I have a blank copy, and then I trade them at the end, and then I have the copy with all the writing on it.
And you make them write it down.
Yes. Because there's a magic in writing it. And so all of when we go back to this page, like all of these numbers, I have them write it down. So we have an app that we use that we can figure all these numbers out, but if I don't use the app, then I'll just pre-fill it out for them with the numbers that I know that's my best of my ability. But if I can have them write it down, I certainly will. It's just more powerful. Okay. All right, back in. So I want to talk about the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. Okay, can I show you the box that matters here? And my goal is that once we find the perfect house, that we have no barriers to getting through it. More often than not, when we do a pre-qualification, pre-qualification, it's just someone who's going to take in your numbers and run with them. And I'm sure that they're accurate. But the problem is when it comes time to purchase this house, we have to redo those numbers, and there might be some surprises in there that neither you nor the lender knew about. And so I also want to make sure when we put that offer in, like it has as much like hard-hitting power as humanly possible. And so sellers are going to also be concerned about the value of that pre-approval. So I know that we had talked before, and you said that you've done a pre-qualification already. Would you be open for getting a pre-approval from one of our trusted lenders?
Yeah, I have a friend that's Asian. He kind of told me to kind of like not commit to anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know what? Your friend cares about you, and I like them already, right? They want to make sure that you don't find yourself in any place that you can't get out of. Am I right?
Right.
Well, that's why I think it's great to start these conversations now, because you're not making any commitments that you can't remove yourself from. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
All right, great. So I'm going to make that connection with one of our trusted lenders so that you can start down the process of getting that pre-approval so that you're ready when that perfect house comes up. Cool?
Cool.
All right. So just to secure the financing, you're going to need some loan apps, some required documents, W-2s. I'll get you the list of everything that you need so that you can get that ready in advance. Cool? And then once you get a chance to talk to that loan officer, you get a chance to review many different loan programs. Did you go over a number of loan programs with your last lender?
Not really. I just assumed that I had to put 20% down.
Yeah. So certainly an option, but you actually have a lot more options than that. And so your lender's going to go through all of those, even those that are as little as 3% down, to see what's the best fit for you. Sound good?
Sounds
And
good.
then they'll go through the down payment, all the rates, the fees, every little piece of that puzzle. They'll go through that with you, and that way we can have the financing ready for that house that you see that you want. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna help you in this process of finding the right home. And so, how have you been finding homes so far?
Just Zillow right now.
Okay.
Pretty easy to use. Just type in what I'm looking for, and the houses just pop up. So.
Zillow's a fantastic place to start a search, and honestly, continue a search. It's one of the best tools. You're starting in a great place, right? There are some other categories of homes that I really want to tell you about that you might not see on Zillow, right? These are for sale by owners, foreclosure homes, or new construction homes, as well as off-market homes. We're part of Keller Williams and Power, which is actually the largest brokerage on the East Coast. I don't know if that's true, but we're just going with it. Largest brokerage on the East Coast. And inside of our world, we have a overwhelming majority of the shares of the Philadelphia real estate market. And so we have these opportunities to see houses before they even come up on the market because we share that internally. So there's a lot of great opportunities there that we just won't see on Zillow. So feel free to look at properties on Zillow. We're just going to add the other 4 elements in and then take care of everything from the time that you find your property all the way up.
So do I need an agent for that? Like, I just can't keep looking online for those opportunities?
You 100% can continue to look online. Actually, I encourage that you do. And we'll continue to send you properties online. You'll send us properties online. That's one big pillar of a home search, probably the biggest. So 100% you can do that. There are just other pillars that an agent's going to help you have access to that you wouldn't have access through Zillow. So certainly can. There's just a slice of the pie that you're going to miss that way. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
All right. Because honestly, you have better taste in your house than I do. So I need you out there finding amazing links for me. Okay. So let's talk about what happens when you find that property that you love. We are here, like the number one thing that we're here to do is to help you to find that perfect house. The number 2 thing we're here to do is protect you. And so once we find that house that you love, I'm gonna switch in to protect your money. Sound fair? And so to do that, we have to really understand the market that you're entering. And not just the market in general, the market in that area. Not just the market in that area, the market in that area at that price point. And so to do that, we use some of these terms that you see on your sheet right there. Months of inventory is the general hotness or coldness of a market, so we know how aggressive we need to be or not need to be with our offer. This price to sales price ratio is, on average, what are homes selling for versus what is the price that they're charging. Days on market are kind of an indication of like how stale or how new and fresh a home is. We use a word called comparable properties, but it's similar properties to the one that you're looking at. We're specifically going to look at 5 active properties that are similar to that property, 5 pending, and 5 closed. So we have an idea of where the market is, where it was, and where it might be going, so that we can chart your path appropriately. So we look at all that data plus more to make sure that we're protecting your money. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So really, once you pick a house that you love, that's when we really start to earn our money. So from contract to keys, from the time you sign the contract to the time the keys get in your hand, there's about a 180-step process that happens after that. And to be honest, any single agent that has to do that by themselves is going to quickly get overwhelmed, right? No offense, you guys. So it's not only us, but it's our client concierge, my showing assistant, our transaction coordinator, lenders, home inspectors, title officer, like all of us, our team, helping you to get exactly where you're trying to go. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All for the single price of hiring one agent. Cool? All right, so time out. The more here is that we're just selling the process. Mm-hmm. How we do it, not me. The longer we do this, the more we realize that our clients do not, like, I mean, you guys are actually pretty amazing beings, so maybe your clients are drawn to, but for us, our clients are really they're drawn to, but they're really drawn to our process. So we just sell the process. We don't really sell ourselves. At no point in any presentation that we do to any client ever do we talk about the number of houses that we've sold, or the number of families that we've helped, or the big, the millions of dollars that we've made. We just don't do anything.
Yeah, I'm like, here's my resume, here's my all of my numbers, here's videos of the work that I've done in the past, here's my dancing video. Okay, never mind. I should stop. I mean, they love it, so or some people are like, oh, okay, we get it.
But all that has no value if you can't sell the house, right?
Yeah, like
so
this particular
it's the-
house for
it's
this
the-
particular client.
it's the
you know.
results that.
Or they're like, wow, you're so busy. Are you able to take on this client or take me on, whatever? So.
Okay, so we're kind of getting to the home stretch here, and we're gonna start to really have to sell our value, right? Because I'm about to ask for a commitment. So here we go to the home stretch. All right, so this is kind of a flow chart of the buyer experience. And this is every step between today and your keys, right? Right now, we're doing a consultation with your agent to analyze your wants and needs. At the end of this is signing and loan papers, home funding, and getting the keys. Every square along the way is another place where gains or losses happen. This is why we really believe that being partnered with a professional agent is essential, because there's a lot of places where money and opportunity really can slip through the cracks if you don't have an amazing agent kind of working for you. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So I want to talk about the costs. So we know what the house that we want, right? It's that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And by the way, we're going to look that up on Zillow in just a few minutes. So super excited. Here are the costs of buying a home. Number one, earnest money deposit. Earnest money deposit is like if I was going to buy your car, I might give you $1,000 now, bank to get the rest of the money, bring it back and buy your house. So that $1,000 is part of the cost of buying your house, but it holds the car for me, so that when I come back, you're not going to sell it to anybody else. And I assume if I never come back, you just get to keep that $1,000, right? That's an earnest money deposit. Typically, for a house, it's somewhere between 2 and 4% of that purchase price. Home inspections typically are going to cost somewhere between $600 and $800. They include termite inspections, radon inspections, which is a colorless, odorless gas that causes cancer. We recommend that all of our clients get home inspections so that they can really know what's going on with the home. State of Pennsylvania, you have to conduct home inspections before you fully commit to purchasing a home. So you put the deposit in, then you get to do inspections. And you have the option to walk away or ask for repairs. We just recommend that you have those. Just note they're going to be about $800. The third piece is the appraisal. And just so you know, the bank is going to require that they send a person out to determine the value of the property, because they're going to lend based on that valuation. So sometimes there's a gap between the appraised value and the purchase price, and that's an appraisal gap. And we'll talk about what we do with that at some point down the road. But the reality is it's about $600 for the appraisal. Down payment, of course, we talked about that. You said 20% down. Jared, how much have you been able to save for this project?
About 30,000.
Wow, nice work. Yeah, I bet you that wasn't easy.
No.
Yeah. So whether you put 3% down or 20% down, that down payment is also going to be part of those costs when it comes down to closing. And the last piece is a buyer agent compensation. So if it's all right with you, Jared, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how I get paid.
Sure. So go ahead, because I always have questions about the commission.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to answer those. But basically, we get paid via commission, which means we get paid at the end of the transaction. So we don't find you anything that you love. You don't have to pay a cent. But we get paid at the end of the transaction. We get paid a percentage of the purchase price, and that's called commission. Our commission is 3%. And the overwhelming majority of the time, the seller will pay for most, if not all, of our commission. That's something that we'll negotiate for. But in the case that there might be some piece of that 3% that they don't cover, you'd be responsible for that additional amount. But we'll always know that in advance, and you'll be able to make the most informed decision you can about the purchase of that home. Make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Great. So what I'd like to do is just cover some of our commitments to our clients and be able to talk about some of the things that we might ask from you. Okay? So we're going to help you find the best financing program for your specific situation. We're going to enroll you in a search function that finds properties that match your specific needs. We'll arrange a private showing of any property that you want to see, including new construction for sale by owner and some private listings that we'll be able to show you. When you find a property you like, we'll use our experience to discuss strategy regarding offer prices, regarding the market itself, to be able to protect your money the very best way we can. Okay? We will provide any information about a home that will enable you to make that informed decision. We're going to present the offer on your behalf and then negotiate at a very high level in your best interest to secure that property. We'll guide you through the necessary steps to purchase, including appraisal, inspections, negotiations. We're going to be involved every step along the way. And we'll be available to answer any questions that you might have. I just want to let you know that we're available between 12 and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 to 8 p.m. on Saturday. I do take Sundays off to be with my family. I'm sure you understand. So that makes us available to you about 50 hours a week, okay? To be able to answer any questions that you might have. Cool. So in return for these services, I'm going to ask for a commitment from you. Before I do that, I might want to ask you first, would you like to work with us on this project?
I do. I just, like I said earlier, like my friend who's an agent told me not to, sign anything.
I get that. Yeah. And I love that you have people in your life that are looking out for you. I think that's truly smart. In my experience, people tend to feel like just anxiety about feeling trapped. Is that true for you?
It is.
And we've honestly, I'm pretty charming, but we've only spent about 40 minutes together, so who knows, right? How that's going to go. And so you just want to make sure that you find a situation where you don't feel that anxiety, and you don't feel trapped. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's right.
So what I would propose is our team has a standing policy that we will release you from the contract at any time. And I'll actually write that into our contract today so that you don't have to feel trapped, but you have the opportunity to take advantage of us and our services starting today. Does that sound fair?
That sounds fair.
Awesome. So the 4 things that we're going to ask from you before I sign to commit to those things for you, I'm going to ask you to promise that you're going to seek that pre-approval for your own purchase. Okay?
Yeah.
If you find anything that you want to see, please promise us that you will let us know. We're going to send you for sale by owners. We're going to send you private listings. I just want to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. Okay? Sometimes we have to move pretty quickly, so as soon as you like it, just reach out to us. Okay? I'm going to ask that if you want to put in an offer, that you're going to put it in with us. And I just want you to know that I'm a generalist, as they like to say. I know a lot of things about a lot of things, but I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a tax advisor. And so if you do need specific help, then you'll get that from me. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
You ready to get started?
I am.
That's awesome. Well, here's some paperwork. I'll have you sign it. If you have any questions, we'll go from there. So that's our buyer. I think for us, asking for a commitment from them is just more than the signature. I want to make sure that we've been explicit about you're going to call us and not other people. You're not going to put in offers to other people. I think sometimes we assume that our clients know that, and they may not. So, but we never leave without asking for a commitment. Our conversion rates on buyer consults are 5 times the conversion rate we have if we don't have them. So our conversion rate goes from about 4% to about 20% if we get someone on a buyer consultation. And so it's way less work if we can get them to a buyer consult. And honestly, it's a smoother run. Like I set parameters on my time. I set parameters on how we're gonna act with each other. I set parameters on my expectations about your financing. And so it just creates for a smoother environment. You know what's coming, and it just makes it a lot easier for us. So, so these were the 5 moves, but what thoughts did you have as you went through the critiques, by the way? You can offer those too. What thoughts did you have as you kind of watched us do our buyer consult? How does it differ from yours?
I go through the process, but I think I'm very like, this is exactly how you buy a house. And sometimes I'm like, maybe do I go too far deep where like I could get the moss and sauce of like what? I really like your slide that like buyer costs, like what is it? What money do I need? When do I need it? I think that's really organized. And most people don't understand how it works. And I also kind of like how you have the compensation included there. I have a separate slide that's like, how do agents get paid? Explaining the different ways that agents get paid.
Yeah. Most people don't do that. I think like it needs to be, obviously it needs to be discussed. But the more we do it, the less weird it feels. I had a siding guy to come to my house yesterday to look at my pricing and siding. At the end of it, he told me how much it costs. It's not weird,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He came and did a thing. He's like, it's $19,500. And I said, "Ooh, thanks for coming." Not, how dare you? Like people are accustomed to paying for goods and their services. I don't know why we get nervous about it. So, yeah, I like that. I like that you do that. Honestly, I kind of like your system, where it's a separate. How do we get paid?
Yeah,
Kind of making it later.
Yeah, and then I usually explain the lawsuit and that's, but it's like before we know, and then I say if they're not offering, I say like a sliding scale model based on what you would be charged. We're working on boundaries, right? We're working on it, okay?
I'll tell you
I
this.
like how you set your schedule boundaries and like when you can be reached. And I also like saying it's like 50 hours, like it's a good amount of time that you can access me. Also really good at that too.
Yeah.
I agree with that, and I felt like the presentation was very professional. Something that my coach and I were talking about last week. Too many agents are going too deep into the relationship, where like you don't have to be friends with your lawyer, you don't have to be friends with your doctor. Like I'm professional at what I do, and the fact that you said you're selling your system, you're not selling yourself. Have you guys experienced more canceled contracts lately? In the past 6 months or so, a lot falling out under contract.
Oh, you mean like under contract?
Yeah.
Yeah. A slight uptick. I just think anytime you see a loosening of like buy side demand, that like when they get to that issue, they're just more likely to let it go than to try and hold it together.
Okay.
So I think it's just a preview of a little bit of softening in the market.
Okay.
Which makes sense. Gas has been $1 million for too long, and people get nervous. Next year.
I will say from personal experience, whenever I did do this, it always led to a termination because I wasn't able to not only just walk them through it, but also a chance to kind of like set their expectations. And also too, the consultation does give us a chance to kind of put it out there that like there's going to be challenges, there's going to be hiccups, but this is kind of like where we get to talk about it and then also kind of work out some contingencies so that when they do come up, their first instinct isn't to like, hey, like let's just blow up the deal. So this is something that I used to avoid personally until I just started to lean into like, hey, sell the system, not myself, and it's made business a life a whole life.
Because you trust the system now.
Yes.
You know the system,
Yes.
and you're able to sell it better.
Yes.
Another thing, and I was thinking about this while you were going through your presentation. I was reading stats, and I think you were at Mega Camp Family Reunion where Rory Vaden was talking about this, where older generations, they just want to have a meeting face to face. Like we're able to use the screen and anything that I send you is support, but that's secondary. Like if I'm meeting an older client, we're talking face to face. The younger generations, like under 35, and the younger they go, the more this becomes important, where it's like the meeting's kind of, this is the meeting, and we're just kind of talking about it together. Like they don't want the face to face. Which I thought that was, it's interesting because you have to adapt your communication style based upon the person that's sitting across the table with you. It was another thing Ben was talking about at his mock listing presentation class a couple weeks back.
Yeah, do you do any of this on Zoom? Like I do a lot of our consultations on Zoom where I just share my screen.
I would say it's more Zoom than not. I think we're in the process of like, Jordan knows, but we're gonna try and transition away. Not
From
that,
Zoom?
yeah, it's not that we won't do it, we will. But our conversion rates in person are significantly higher.
Most of your buyers are cold call, would you say, for your team or?
So, we're like 40% Sphere, 40% Zillow,
Oh, okay.
and like 20% like prospecting, cold calls, open houses, that kind of thing. So we're a little bit of a mix. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a, like in our office, it's a little bit of a race to get them to a BSS. Like almost anytime it's like one of our agents is like having a problem, the first question is, did you get a BSS? The buyer strategy session, BSS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is that good?
Yeah. Did you get them on a BSS? Because like it solves a lot of the problems. But we do them on Zoom.
Yeah.
But our like we crush it in person, and so it's like, man, we should press that a little bit more. We should say, let's meet in person, and then if they say no, I'd rather do a Zoom, then we'll do a Zoom. But we go, which was better for you, Zoom or in person? And so I think we like just want to shift a little bit more to in person, just because we do so much better. And then it's also like we have the contract right there, so that they can sign it.
Do you have any of this recorded, almost like automated before the BSS, where it's, hey, I'm going to send you, whether it's content, material, recorded video, and one of the first questions you can ask is, were you able to watch the video? Were you able to check out what I sent over to you? Did you guys do any of that?
Just like, yes, actually, just like described our whole, like this is a new project.
Pre-buyer strategy session.
What to expect at a buyer consultation.
Okay.
And so we have a video that we made with one of our agents. Alcides filmed it, and it's got some B-roll, and it's cute. And so like we send that to them in advance, and we kind of we call it assignment selling. Like we ask for a commitment that they'll watch it. Not like, hey, just send it to them. Hey, just in case you're curious, watch this. It's like, hey, will you do me a favor in anticipation of me coming to your house? Will you watch this video? So that way we can make the time that we spend together as valuable as humanly possible for you. Like, yes, great, and then I send it. So I asked for like the commitment to watch it, but yeah, we now send those before every buyer consultation. We send them like what to expect at your first showing, like what to look for in an agent. Like we have these series of videos that are now part of our sales process that we send. What to expect at inspections, like what do you need for closing? Like it's all videos. And I think it's a better process because they're going to feel empowered when they show up. Because like
Differentiates you.
they don't, and they also don't want to be. You don't want them to be nervous. Like
Yeah.
we're just going to do this. It's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
But that's a new project. Like
Okay.
when I say we do that, I mean we've been doing it for like 6 days. It took us.
Because you do repeat yourself so many times, you're like, all right, where are they, and like, what do I have to explain, and now trying to like, super good idea, I feel like a friendly video would be.
Also, like how to fill out a buyer, like a BFI. Like, please, like watch this video. So, yeah, it took us a while to film them all, like the entire buy side and list side process, but we've got there.
Then you like find yourself using this like weed out people, like you can get to a certain point where like this guy, they're not serious about going forward with the actual process.
I mean, you'll find people want to fight you, and then you can make your own decisions about like what you want to do there. But to be honest, sometimes I'm having this conversation with Kate, and Kate's not going to be ready until next year.
Right.
And that comes out, and I don't stop.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, like, now she's just a super educated buyer that, like, is still excited and committed to me, and I got to Kate 6 months before anybody would even know to even talk to her. Like, I think that's a win. So I don't really care if they buy today or buy next year, it's what them to buy with me.
Yeah.
But through this, you do a little weeding out of, like, people who aren't, I'm asking for commitments at the end.
Yeah.
Right, and if they're like, well, then I can decide whether I want to work with them. And
Yeah. I think it shows too, like, you have a lot of people that are like, I don't need a realtor, I know this and I know that. And then when you kind of get into it, it shows like, they're like, oh, I have no idea what that is. So it almost enhances your value as a realtor because you're showing them and exposing them to sides of the process they've never seen before.
well,
They would have no idea what even.
I totally agree. And that's why, by the way, this slide is directly before I talk about how much I cost.
Yeah.
Right, like,
Exactly.
this is confusing, dude. Like, this
Yeah.
is not as easy as you think, and there are a lot of places where you can lose or win. I mean, it's kind of a scare slide, like, but it's not, I don't present it that way, but like, the reality is, there's a lot that goes on here.
And you said that my job starts when we find the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the easy part.
that's,
Maybe not the easy part. It could be the easy part. But like, how in depth do you go over the logistical timeline of all of these steps on this flow chart?
depends. I have to peg you as a C. If I
Yeah.
peg you as a C on the
What's the
disc,
C?
on the disc,
Oh,
the disc chart,
what does that mean?
like a super calculating human, like a numbers guy. If you're a numbers human, then I'm probably going to go into more detail here. If
How would
you're,
you know that? Just get intuition?
yeah, just from the conversation that I have, you notice I asked him what he did for a living. Like there's some things that are like some cues in there, but you can usually,
Because you could lose some people going over all of the flow charts.
yeah, to be
Like
honest,
a high eye.
for a high I say the first slide and
the
then
last.
that slide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And so like I can, depending on who I'm talking to, is how accurate. I've spent an hour on this page
Oh my gosh,
before.
that's not amazing. In addition to, how long is your buyer's consult usually?
40 minutes.
Okay, what do you mean?
So, but that was someone who I saved so many headaches. That's the person that's gonna like drill you all along the transaction. What do you mean I have to pay transfer tax? That guy? And so we went through it all here, and like, he had a level of comfort with it. But in general, I will share no more than 4 of these slides. I just want them to see visually that it's a complex process. That's really all I'm trying to them to get out of that before I tell them how much I cost. Little psychology.
I have flow charts too, but I added to their buyer's resource folders. Need this.
Any other questions?